Yo, people, what's going on? It's your boy. I'm back again with another video. First and foremost, before we go any further, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Please like the video. Please check out all my other videos that I've done previously in the last couple of weeks as well, in regards to Kylian Mbappe, in regards to Moises Caicedo. There's some good stuff, some viewpoints, some of my viewpoints, and some of the comments there as well, if you haven't seen those videos. But I thought I'll come on today just to talk about the latest and greatest in the world of Arsenal. To be honest and to be fair, there's not much going on at the moment. We've just concluded our US tour. It was a good US tour. I think it wasn't as good as last year. I didn't feel as though it was, as fluent and as organic as last year's one. But it was the US. The guys got a run out with some big teams, Barcelona, Manchester United. We got to see MLS All Stars with Wayne Rooney managing them. They obviously got to see the owners as well, Kroenke, the Kroenke family, the owners that are looking like they are starting to have a slight change in their approach to managing Arsenal. We saw that they were, more or less heavily involved in the tour aspect of things. Arsenal were training at the LA Rams um, training center, and they played at SoFi Stadium. They played at SoFi Stadium twice, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, man, KSC definitely looking like they want to have more of an input in Arsenal, and it's good. It's good to see on the transfer front. Not much is happening in sort of recent couple weeks. I think we are going to get the boy Bitello in. I think that's more or less um, a goal in terms of outgoings. I think that's what the club is focusing on at the moment. When you think of, like, when we look at the players that need to go, it's quite a lot of players. When we actually deep it, you got El Neni, you've got people like Nketiah, who for me, I think he's just got to go. It's either it's looking like it's going to be Balogun, but for me, to be honest, I think both of them need to go. We do need to get a better striker in. I understand that it's easier said than done. You got people like Rob Holding. You got people who then need to go on loan, such as Fabio Vieira. I do believe Fabio Vieira does need a loan spell at a Premier League side, and then he comes back after a year, and we're going to see him more robust. We're going to see him definitely, of course, with more experience, ready to take on the league a little bit more. Um, but then you have people like Tavares. You have, there's quite a lot of players. We know Mikel has said that the squad is unsustainable. Too many players. We need to start. Edu needs to start to get rid of some of these excess players. So then we can focus on, bringing in someone like a Kudus, or bringing in an additional striker, or whoever else they feel as though they need to bring in. But in terms of the latest news, we've had some, some sort of media rounds. Some players have been speaking. Some the manager's been speaking. Lots of bits and bobs, and even pundits as well. Graham Sennis here, talking about um, Kai Havertz, and the criticism for Kai Havertz is still more or less there in terms of his price tag. But look, 2 goals, in 2 games, in 3 games, sorry. He's looking much better. He looked much better in that Barcelona game. I know I didn't do a pre or post Barcelona sort of preview. I was busy over the last few days, so apologies for that. But yeah, just quickly touching on that, Kai Havertz's performance for Barcelona, against Barcelona, I think it was a much better performance, improved. He's looking like he's getting to know his teammates more. He's looking like he's understanding the system more, and he's quite clinical. I know it sounds weird to say that, looking at his Chelsea performances, or lack of performances there, but that movement for that goal against Barcelona, like, that's a clinical move. That's a clinical sort of action right there that gives me hope, and gives me, it gives me, it just gives me that strength and that belief that we can start to see potentially our Arteta work on good things for Havertz, and work on elements of his game, that we can have a big game player, a big game scorer there, and it's good to see. It's good to witness. Um, In terms of other news, of course, we understand that the impasse with Kylian Mbappe is still continuing, and there's all sorts of things thrown around on the internet in regards to links for Arsenal and potential for Arsenal. That's not going to happen. That's even a bigger myth than the Chomini myth and so forth. I have also seen elements of people talking about Neymar. I think Neymar coming into that Arsenal dressing room will be instability. It will be disastrous. I think he, on the footballing side of things, I think he'll do good. I think he'll play well. I think he'll score goals. I think he might even take us to the next level in that sense. But I think after a year or two, you will start to see, uh, you will start to see history repeat itself, and him creating problems with the club, and going on illnesses and trips, blaming it on illnesses and all of these things. We don't want to see that kind of creeping into Arsenal in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, Arsenal set to sign Bitello from Gremio this week in an 8 million euro deal. I think this is potentially going to be one of the last outgoings, or sorry, incomings that we're going to have in this window. The Gremio midfielder, 23 years of age, Brazilian player, looks like a clear cut Edu sort of transfer. It could be a Martinelli in the making, Martinelli Volume 2 in the making. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think this is something that when you clearly see Real Madrid's transfer strategy, they have been biting into that Brazilian league for decades, and they've never stopped it. Then they've never compromised from it. You always see these gems come up. Vinicius Junior. Like, we're talking all the way back to the 70s. Uh, down to filter into the 80s, 90s, Roberto Carlos, people like Marcelo, and, continuing Vinicius Junior now. Like, the Brazilian market is a market you cannot take your eyes off, because there's just gems that are going to come about. And, they imagine we saw Neymar from the early, from the jump, when he just started showing one or two potential at Santos. That could have been a situation where, he could have been our legend. We could have gone for Neymar at that young stage, at that early stage, but it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, it looks like Bitello is somebody who we're going to be able to bring in from the Brazilian league. As I said, 23 years old, and from what I'm hearing, it sounds like we're going to kind of, or we're open to loaning him back to Gremio. I don't think that's a good idea. I think he needs to come in um, straight away, in a sense, and kind of try to compete against Odegaard. I think looking at his physique and looking at a couple of videos, as you would, see where, YouTube, we're looking at what we can see from the player. No one would watch the Brazilian league inside out. That'll be a lie if anyone tells you that they know this player inside out. He looks like a flary player. He looks like one of them players, final third, knows what he's doing there, finds the final pass, or finds the goal, and that's what we need. I think sometimes, but a bit more direct with it. I think sometimes Odegaard, he's too pass sideways and too pass backwards. Listen, fantastic player Odegaard, and he's our captain, and I'm not saying anything, but the fact that he always gets subbed, and you normally don't have club captains being subbed, they normally complete 90 minutes. It does signal, and it does indicate that Mikel is looking for something else. He is looking for a different option in that sort of attacking role at times. And I think this is why they're bringing this guy in. So I don't really understand what the situation is in regards to, putting him back on or sending him back on loan. I think he should come into the side and fight for his place straight away. That's my take on Bitello. And as I said, the Brazilian market is one that you don't want to take your eyes off. You want to make sure that you always have scouts looking at the nearest or the next sort of gem to come out from that market. So yeah, so that's looking like it's gonna more or less be completed. You're looking at anything from now to about next week in terms of an announcement. Um, Declan Rice putting in the work in Arsenal training as well. Declan Rice, it was a bit upsetting to hear that he obviously had an injury or a knock or whatever it was. Uh, Look, it is what it is. He's never been injured at West Ham. He comes to Arsenal and we're looking at injuries already. But it's nothing. It ain't really anything to be concerned of or anything like that. It's just a precaution. And I think Declan Rice, once he settles in, once he understands the pace, once he said it himself in an interview that he's done, Sky Sports, there is a lot that he's now learning and have realizing he has to learn. It's a different level of football. It's a different level of approach to football. West Ham to Arsenal. So there's many things that he's going to have to kind of integrate into his game, and there will be obviously physical effects to that. But nothing to worry about. Slightly jumping back into transfers, I found the situation with Mohamed Kudus. Arsenal face competition from Chelsea and Manchester United for 40 million rated playmaker Mohamed Kudus, and are interested in a 45 million rated winger Michael Olise. Um, you guys probably heard as well, the rumors running around that he obviously prefers a move to Arsenal. I don't think that's in any way, shape, or form relevant. Whether he prefers a move to Arsenal or not, it depends if Arsenal want to go in for him. And I don't think Arsenal is too keen or seriously keen on going in for him. So it's looking like it's just going to be a case of Chelsea putting in a bid and that's it. He's a Chelsea player, or even Manchester United for this for this matter. So yeah, so that's how I see the situation when it comes to Mohamed Kudus. They need him more than we need him. We don't exactly need. And look, and I would agree with what some people are saying. I think he's actually better, or if not as good as Bukayo Saka, or even Martinelli on the other side, or even better than Martin Odegaard, or on par with Martin Odegaard. He can come in and do as job. Like, he's somebody who can come in and it will be great addition in terms of depth addition. So I wouldn't mind getting him, but I don't think that should be the priority for Arsenal at the moment. I do believe the priority for Arsenal should be a centre forward. And listen, I don't know what the situation is in terms of the politics behind Ivan Toney, but if we can even buy Ivan Toney and keep him and bring him in January, let's do that. Like, we need someone of that build. We need someone of that ilk. We need somebody who is, robust and strong, tall, is good in the air, can knock a defender off their feet, and stuff like that. And that's the type of priority I feel as though Arsenal should be focused on. They should be focused on outgoings, people like Holden, people like Tavares, people like Cedric, people like and even loans, people like Nketiah, maybe on a permanent. Mikel loves Nketiah, so he's not going to sell him, but at least take him out on loan. He's just not good enough to carry us to a title or a Champions League trophy. It's not about heckling the boy, or it's not about not giving him the props, but at this elite level, you need to be super clinical, and the fact that Man City has Haaland and we feel as though we're okay with Jesus and Nketiah is nuts to me. Like, it's actually nuts to me. It's crazy nuts to me. And I know we're scoring goals 5-0 there and 5-3 there, and but it comes to a point where you need to take that pressure off the team as a whole, and you need a striker to be able to kind of take on that mantle. That's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why they become the superstars, and so forth and so forth. But yeah, people. Other than that, there's some sort of moving outside Arsenal, some other news or sort of general news in regards to the rest of the Premier League and rest of the transfer window as a whole. Bayern Munich open to talks for with Brentford for David Raya, the fantastic goalkeeper who's had a wicked season at Brentford, looking like Bayern Munich is just coming to shop in the Premier League this season. I don't understand what's going on. It's definitely obviously the effect of the manager. His name skips my mind at the moment, the ex-Chelsea guy. But yeah, they're just looking like they just want to grab players from the Premier League, Bayern Munich, this window. Tottenham have rescheduled a meeting with Bayern officials for Monday to discuss the potential sale of Harry Kane. So it looks like, they are slightly getting somewhere, Bayern Munich, in regards to Harry Kane. This is quite significant. If Harry Kane ends up going to Bayern Munich, I think it's because he's pushing for it. I don't understand why he wants to go Bayern Munich. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand it. I understand abroad going to somewhere like Real Madrid or something. If not, to be honest with you, Man United would have made more sense. From his perspective, from my perspective, looking at his thing would have made more sense. But what do I know? Manchester United may move for Fiorentina and Morocco's Sofiane Amrabat, looking like He's still on their radar as well. Donny van de Beek looking like he's going to make a move to Real Sociedad from Manchester United. Finally, time for Donny van de Beek to go. Like, that's one player they properly mashed up, like properly mashed up. He was so sick at Ajax. I don't know what happened to Donny van de Beek. You just cannot. And even with his ex-manager who made him play the way he was playing at Ajax, even with him coming in Ten Hag, he still can't rediscover his form. He still can't, pick up where he left off at Ajax, playing some of the best football we've seen, European football we've seen from young players and a young squad in a long while, with Ziyech there, and who else was there? There was our bagger man there, and all of them, and they just, when you actually think about it, when you deep it, that core of players from Ajax, they all kind of flopped in a way once they got sold. I remember the centre back again. His name, the one that's gone to Juventus, his name skips my mind now. But then you had, who else did you have? You have the midfielder from that's in Barcelona as well. That was heavily linked to Manchester United. He's a very good player, but he's not. He's not really pulling up any trees at Barcelona. You got Donny van de Beek, who, just completely declined and career has gone down, down, down at Manchester United. Like, it's a madness. Like, it's crazy. Ziyech, Chelsea flopped. He's now in Saudi. Like, it's a madness. But yeah, it's looking like Real Sociedad is now gonna put Donny van de Beek out of his misery. PSG are set to continue a surprise deal for France winger Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. PSG out of nowhere coming in for Ousmane Dembele, looking like they're serious about him as well. I don't see what the issue is with Ousmane Dembele. I think he's past his best. I think he is still quite a good winger, but I don't know, man. I just think the injuries is not worth it. You're gonna put up 42 million for his release clause to get an injury prone, a super injury prone player like him into your squad for what? Just to be injured for another 5-6 months. There's no point. Newcastle selling Alan St. Maximin to the Saudi League. He's done. That's official. Manchester United open to letting Dean Henderson join Nottingham Forest. I think that's a done deal as well, to be honest with you. Dean Henderson has been wanting to leave. He wants to play first team football. He wants to play. He wants to be starting for whoever he plays for. So I don't think Manchester United, with them signing Onana, they're going to be able to hold on to him. Real Madrid considering the move for Getafe goalkeeper David Soria. Aston Villa will not be signing Sporting Lisbon's Portugal winger Pedro Gonçalves. Galatasaray interested in Man United's Fred. Again, Fred, 30 years old. He should go as well. What else? Anything significant here? No, and that's pretty much it for transfer news, people. On a day like today, Saturday, 29th of July. If you haven't already, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, I just thought I'd come in here and give you guys some transfer news, some updates, bits and bobs. Obviously, you guys would have been aware, of course, by now, the statue, the awesome Wenger statue has now been unveiled. Fantastic, beautiful scenes to witness. I think the official unveiling is going to be somewhere around somewhere. I think it's on a second. Is it on a second, or the Monaco game is on a second? I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be on a first, where there's going to be like an official unveiling. Let me see if there's actually details. During the unveiling, there's going to be speeches from a few of the players, Invincibles and stuff like that. Of course, Wenger himself. So yeah, he will be the guest of honor. I think it's on the second. I think it's actually the same day as the Monaco game. It'll be on the second. He'll be the guest of honor. I remember reading it previously. Something to do along those lines. He'll be the guest of honor, and he's going to have the official unveiling. I think he deserves it. I'm totally up. I'm totally for this. Wenger is the manager who was in power, or was at the helm when I fell in love with Arsenal, and I attribute that falling in love aspect because of how he put his teams out and how he played his football, how he saw football through his eyes. So yeah, man, it was turmoil, it was toxic at the end, but you can't forget what he's given us. Some people are just so disrespectful to him. I understand, him overstaying, and understand him covering up lies and stuff like that, or covering up things for the club. I get all of that, but he was doing it out of the goodness of his heart for the club, putting the club first. always. So yeah, man, I'm gonna leave it there, people. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Please drop a like on the video again. Please subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Drop a share as well. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys on the next one. The Monaco game is fast approaching. As I said before, I will be there. So lots of content to come out. Hopefully, I get some, some people to do some Q&As as well in regards to, everything that they feel as though they've witnessed in this window, and looking forward to the season ahead as well. So I'll see you lot soon, people. Peace and love. Peace and love.